What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. I'm your host, Pat Finley. I'm a lead master certified technician at General Parts Group, and I'm a certified special trainer. Our goal is to shine a light on what we believe to be the most interesting and rewarding industries a field service technician can work in. We love the work we do, and we are glad you're here listening to this podcast. In this episode, Rich and I catch up with Mac Calderon from Texas. We talk about how he became an HVAC instructor and more. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. Tonight, it's Rich and myself, and we have a very special guest, Mac. But before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by Viper. Viper brings you NSF-registered coil cleaning products, the legendary nylon for sealing threads and gaskets, and solutions for heat protection like wet rag. Viper's HVACR products were crafted by HVAC technicians themselves. You know they mean business. Plus, Viper believes in non-toxic solutions because performance should never come with a compromise. Maintain your cool, Viper. So, that's a good one for this week because it's probably brutally hot just about where everybody's at.
Bro, the amount of money I've spent in Viper Venom Packs condenser cleaner this week, and it's only Wednesday. Bro, like I need a rebate or something from them. I need something, bro.
That would be nice.
Bought a crap ton of Viper Venom Pack condenser cleaner. I mean, and that stuff is great. It's just everybody's condensers are freaking plugged up.
Yeah, I've been running through the can of the aerosol. I've been using on everything. Evaporators, condensers. I just use it on everything. It's great on the evaporators. You don't have to rinse it, of course. But the condenser coils, you need to rinse it. Read the directions, people. The reason you don't have to do it on the evaporators because the evaporator takes that hot air and it creates moisture, and that moisture just kind of wicks it off. So make sure you are rinsing it off on your
condensers.
So we have Mac on. He goes by the HVAC space Mac on social media. He's kind of a relatively new follow for me. He came out of nowhere, and I just started following him everywhere. He's a pretty cool dude. He's got a pretty cool story. He hasn't been in the industry. He's been in the industry for a while, but not like 15, 20 years. He's got a pretty cool story about how he got involved and that kind of stuff. And I was looking for guests this week, and he volunteered to come on and tell his story. And he's got a pretty cool story. And this dude has a really good attitude. He always seems like he's cheery, upbeat, ready to joke around, have some fun. But, when it comes down to business, he knows how to get stuff done. So welcome to the show, Mac.
Thank you. I appreciate it, sir.
Nice. So first off, where are you from?
I'm from Waco, Texas. And you may have heard of it. A little thing called the Branch Davidians back in the early 90s. Are we old?
Back in the late 1900s.
Oh, my chest. Oh. The students do that to me, and it hurts when they do that too.
I'm officially at the age where used to go to the grocery store and it was the oldies playing, and the oldies are now the songs I grew up listening to. And I'm like,
dude,
no.
I rarely listen to the radio, and I turn to the classic rock station. And it's playing stuff from like my teenage years, like late teenage years, like 22, 23 years ago. I'm like, whoa, this is uncalled for, guys. This is like used to be like Skinner and stuff, and now it's
that's like
no.
the what they call it, throwback R&B stations used to be like Luther Vandross and Freddie Jackson, and now it's the stuff that I listened to in the 90s. It's like Babyface and R. Kelly and 112, and I'm like, what you mean throwback?
Now playing on throwback oldies, John B's. Don't listen to.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Yeah, so, from Waco, Texas. Look, didn't expect much. Walked into trade school with an unemployment check and have been stumbling my way into positions I probably didn't deserve, to be honest with you. Honestly.
Did you get the storm down there? Sorry to be off topic. Did you get the storm, the hurricane, or was that further east? Or I'm not sure where Waco is.
Further east and south. I'm in Dallas at Lincoln Technical College in Grand Prairie teaching, and it kind of went to the east of us, maybe about 90 minutes to an hour.
Dude, that mug rolled through here today. There was tornadoes yesterday from it up here. It rolled through today, dude, and my yard is trash. I got tree limbs down, all kinds of stuff. I'm like, what? And Yeah, it was still a tropical storm up here in Indiana, dude.
And you went to work at 5 a.m?
I don't care.
You're a better man than me. I care.
That don't bother me, man. I'm like, tornadoes will be all right. Just don't drive at them.
Hands at 10 and 2, you'll be fine.
That's right. So you went to trade school, and what was that like? I mean, was it a 1-year program, 2-year program? Like, you want to talk about like your time there and how you learned and what?
Start with the unemployment check. Start with that part.
So I was living in Austin, Texas at the time, and got fired from a landscaping job. I was bouncing and being a DJ, right? And got fired, got on unemployment, moved back home into my sister's house as a 32-year-old male, and was looking for a quote unquote real job. At the time, Craigslist was still a thing, and they were offering like $10 an hour, $11 an hour call center type stuff. And so made a decision about trade school because to that point, I had made multiple attempts at 4-year schools. I mean, political science major, music major, and didn't see anything through to that point. I don't think my story is unique as far as men are concerned, where you have to struggle through stuff. And got unemployment check, was on food stamps, and had one of those conversations with myself about what I was going to do with my life as a 32-year-old male. Very unhappy, unsatisfied with everything I was doing to that point, which was frankly not living up to my potential. So we go to a school called Texas State Technical College in Waco, Texas. They got a campus there, and walked through there and took the unemployment check, gave it to them. And January of 17, I was in trade school. Just like that, from the summer landscaping to January trade school.
That's crazy. So how long was the program there? Was it like a 1-year, 2-year program, or?
It's an 18-month program that's broken up into semesters, 5 semesters, about 4 classes each semester. So you're there 18 months from beginning to end. And if you can go for 1 year, and it's 3 semesters, I believe, and you get a certificate, or you can stay for 5 and get a degree in applied science, an associate's degree. So that is what I did, thankfully. And my dad is the one who said that had to be the way. So if it was not for him, I probably would have got just a certificate, and you know what I mean? So the education, with that came great confidence. And then being in the trade and all the amounts of trial and error and problem solving day in and day out, it gives you great confidence, maybe overconfidence, right? And 18 months.
When you came out, what was your first job in the industry, if you don't mind? What'd you do?
I worked for Sears at the time, which they were A&E Home Services.
Yep.
Fixing appliances. And I did that for just a hair under a year before I needed to go to something else. I made a choice deliberately out of trade school as an HVAC tech to do that because I was so paranoid about the rumors I heard about people getting laid off in the winters in HVAC. And so in my mind, it was learn to fix appliances. So if it gets slow, I can dip into other things.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that makes sense. That's the good thing about, Rich and myself. We're both, kitchen guys. We do refrigeration, HVAC, square washing. If it's in a kitchen, we're going to try to fix it, man. And there's always something there. I mean, if it's hot outside, your walk-ins are going down, your HVAC is going down. If it's cold outside, heat's out, other things break, and people are always in restaurants. Even if the restaurants are slow, you still have your nursing homes, your hospitals, your schools and stuff to fall back on. So there's always work there. You may not always like the work, but I mean, it's always there some way or another.
Agreed. It was it's a challenge. It was a challenge. It is a challenge. Getting into restaurants and all that through some of my employers, it was a challenge. It was hard. but the variety and for me the ability to keep evolving, keep growing, keep putting my hands on different things. Uh, you eventually get to a point, like for me 18 months ago, where you fall in love with it.
Mhm. So the residential side, I bet you've seen some wild stuff, man.
I have.
Just it's amazing the way people live. Like you see stuff on TV and you're like, oh, that can't be true. And then like these guys, do residential HVAC or plumbing or appliance repair, and they go in these people's houses and they're like, what the hell? Like, you live like this? I'm like, this is off a TV show. You know what I mean?
I have, and it's you have to remain a professional. You have to at all times. And I've honestly, if I were to think back at it, I've seen worse as an appliance technician, taking apart washers and dryers and seeing animal collecting like feces and stuff on boards and everything like that. It is difficult, and I also will tell you that I believe that one of my injuries was because of rat feces that I seen on a work site, on equipment and all that. So yeah, a lot. Whether it's rodent droppings, whether it's live animals. I've seen a possum in an attic before. Terrifying. I hadn't moved that quick since I played football 20 years prior. It's amazing I didn't step through. I think if I was skinnier, I would have stepped through and went through. But I just kind of bounced back and landed on the 2x4 the way I needed to not go through. But yeah, I've seen that. I've seen people with some very interesting collections of things that I wouldn't collect. I don't judge, but it's weird. It is, but you have to be a professional and keep some integrity about yourself with that.
Yeah, and we run into the same thing, man. You see some pretty nasty stuff, some pretty nasty restaurants, and you want to freak out, you want to throw them under the bus, you want to tell everybody and if it's bad enough, I will warn people. I mean, I'm not going to warn everybody, but I'll warn close friends and family. But I mean,
don't go to this place.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like you pull down control panels and like shit scatters. And I'm like, put the control panel back, give them a second, and then put it back down. They're gone. Okay, but let me do my thing. You don't come out, and I won't kill you. Let's just.
I freaked out in a country club one time. Like, I can deal with roaches, whatever. It's part of the industry. But when roaches are coming out of the distribution tube on an ice maker, dude, I lost it. I was in that kitchen yelling and screaming that this is the most disgusting place I ever seen. And it wasn't even that dirty. It was just the roaches in the distribution tube that set me off.
Why does it seem like country clubs are always like shitholes? Like most of them are shitholes because a lot of them are old buildings and it's like they put the money where people see it and no one sees the kitchen, so it's just kind of like it is what it is.
A lot of places are like that. I did some work in an overpriced supermarket one time, and when I saw their kitchen, I'm like y'all charge $32 for a watermelon and y'all can't fix your convection oven? Like,
can we all agree that ice machines? Yeah, right.
Yeah, they can be bad, man.
I don't want to say too many negative things because of the shirt I'm wearing, but we can just ice machines, right?
Environments play a huge role into it. So where they're at, like what that place cooks, what that place sells, plays a huge role in it.
And of course, how they maintain it, because I mean, I've seen places that you go clean the ice machine the first time and it's disgusting, but then they go on a 3 or 6 month schedule, and every time you go back, it's practically spotless. So I think that's the biggest thing is, what they're willing to do to maintain it.
I've found that, how am I going to say this delicately? Food service places that operate with bread.
Yep.
Those are pretty gnarly.
Yeast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, if they bake in that ice machines within the same airspace, you guarantee it's bad. You can guarantee it's bad.
I don't think I've seen one or opened one up that wasn't bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Like, Rich said, if they maintain it, it's not bad. Because, if you kill all that slime and that growth, it stays gone for a little while. The problem is once it starts, it breeds and grows like crazy. It's amazing that stuff can grow when it's, 40, 45 degrees in there, but it's like the perfect condition for that type of that type of slime or bacteria, and that stuff gets gnarly, dude.
I think it's really incredible that companies like Viper have developed products that can handle that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
You know?
Viper, man, they're not playing around, dude. They're coming out with new stuff all the time. Yeah, they do a really good job, dude. That pan and drain treatment, I use that stuff all the time in walk-ins and reach-ins, and it really does a good job keeping that drain clear, keeping it from building up and stuff. Now, I use a little bit of their ice machine cleaner. We have a pretty weird policy for ice machines. We like to stick with the manufacturer's cleaner. That way, if something happens to that plate, we have receipts that we use their cleaner, so they can't blame us. So, like Manitowoc used to have a problem with like nickel flaking off real bad back in the day. Right. If you use the wrong cleaner, well, it became our policy that we'll only use Manitowoc approved cleaner. Whatever that machine specifies is what we use, just because we don't want to have to, fight for a customer saying we used the wrong stuff in there. So
that's pretty clever. It's pretty slick.
Yeah,
I like
makes
that.
Sense.
Takes the headache out of it.
Poor technician get out there with a tire brush and just kind of scrub all that nickel plating stuff off of there, and then why doesn't it work? Oh, I wonder why, young Mac.
he's got the gallon of boiler cleaner and he's pouring it in there. Yeah. You got to run it for like 2 minutes and he's all lime off.
Who's got two thumbs and made that mistake before?
Oh, dude. Before I do better, man. I've done some dumb stuff, man. Yeah. So you've done, residential, commercial, restaurants, back to residential. Now you currently do residential as well as teach, correct?
That's correct. I dabble in residential. Each day that I do teaching, I have found, in my opinion, the thing that I've fallen in love with. So what I'm struggling with is kind of trying to decide when I'm going to let go of the thing I used to love and really kind of grab with both hands at the new thing that I love.
Yeah, I can understand it a lot. I love to teach. I teach for Cefesa for refrigeration. And I train new guys. I come try and do some other stuff. And it's a hard thing to do because the field is fun. It's something different all the time. And I don't know if I could come out of the field and just be a straight teacher. I don't think I could do it. I'd lose my mind.
I absolutely underestimated how difficult teaching this craft is, teaching in general. I'm not going to lie to you. I came through the door very arrogant, very cocky, very machismo, ego-driven, that I survived the finger injury, there's nothing I couldn't handle. And I come through the doors and I get in front of these kids for the first time. And I have never in my life felt that lack of confidence before. I've always been extremely confident until there's 20 sets of eyes looking at you and you realize the pressure of, hey, I got to be good at this, because those families that are tied to those 20 people kind of depend on it. Like it's to me, I still get anxious thinking about it because I'm human.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a guy with an unemployment check that walked through the door with no more options. What if you asked me then, I would not have told you that I'd be in front of young men trying to teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
But it is hard. And when I was in the field, I was one of those guys that said that same thing that we all said about teachers.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said it until I get up there in front of 12, technicians. It's a little different because my guys are experienced a little bit, but like you get in front of those 12 guys, that's why I have in a class, and like it's a totally different thing, man. I have a whole new respect for teachers.
Yes. And if by chance, I'm going to say it in the universe so that the universe can hear it, I apologize to each and every one of the teachers I've ever had in my life. Miss Barnes, I'm sorry. Coach Golf, I'm sorry. I thought you had it easy. I thought all you had to do was teach me math for 4 hours a day. I'm sorry. I really am. I really am. Oh, my goodness.
My biggest challenge is I've been doing this for a long time, and I try to gravitate to people that have a higher skill, and I gotta try to separate myself. I gotta try to teach to the lowest person, and not saying that they're the lowest person, but the person that needs it the most. Try to teach to their level, and then try to keep the others engaged as well. Because a lot of times, you go for that guy that needs it the most, but the other guys are just going to get lost in the weeds, and they're going to be bored, and it's weird, man. It's hard to do.
That is the challenge, because if you ask me, it's easy to teach the guys that get it.
Oh yeah.
That's easy. They're not paying me for that.
Mm-hmm.
They're paying me for the guy who struggles with math, who doesn't enjoy reading and doesn't learn that way. That's what they pay me to do, is to reach that one who's gone through life kind of being unreachable. Not unreachable, but people didn't try to reach that person.
Well, because it was a challenge, and most people don't want a challenge.
That's it. And those are the ones that are, like you said, you can't leave them behind. And I feel like as an educator, the whole role is, hey, I have to find the way to get them engaged and get it to go for them. I have to. That's the job. That's the job. Nobody wants my excuse on why it's hard. Like, he has to succeed too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the challenge. And that's the thing that's really addictive about this, is it forces you as a human being to, you got two choices. Okay. You're going to evolve and figure out how to reach them, or you're going to fail him. That's it. So what side of that do you want to be on? I want to help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this thing has been so good to me that I want everybody to experience it, from the one who is mechanically inclined to the one who's never touched a wrench a day in his life. That's the job.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's a good point. So my parent company has this program they started, and it's like a 3-week program. It's a couple weeks on, a couple weeks off. It's weird how it works. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but like, if you don't get a certain percentage, like, they just let you go. It's based on green guys, of course, zero experience. And I'm like, they started one kind of, well, it's not really close to me, but in my area, and they took a tech that's ready to come out of the field, and he's teaching it. And I've heard about several people losing their job because they didn't pass. And I was like, man, I'm like, does he have?
They didn't pass what?
They passed
the class,
test.
or
at the end they had to get a 70 or they let them go. I mean,
holy crap!
Yeah, and it's basic stuff. It's nothing troubleshooting. It's just basic, applied science for electrical, water, that kind of stuff. But my thing is, like, does this dude have a teaching? And I don't know the guy. I'm not knocking him whatsoever. I'm like, this guy is affecting people's lives, families' lives, families' livelihoods, people's rent, food, that kind of thing. I'm like, does he have a teaching background? Does he understand how to reach out to those people that need it the most? Or is he just someone they picked to do it? I'm like, because if you can't reach those people that need it the most, you're not doing them any good, man. You're doing them a disservice, really.
Yeah. I underestimated how incredibly hard that is, and I underestimated that that's a skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's a skill. I don't know where it comes from. If I did, I just don't know. I'm a guy trying to figure it out too.
No, I don't have it figured out, dude. I'm terrible at it. I try my best.
Yeah.
I get lucky because the guys that get it faster, I kind of just send them off on like mock-ups. I'm like, hey, go do this, go wire this defrost clock circuit, and I'm gonna work with this guy on make sure he understands superheat and subcooling, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of it's weird though, man. I just feel terrible if something I did cost someone their job.
Yeah, or cost them an opportunity to like feed themselves for the rest of their life too.
Everybody learns differently too, and like that's part of it. If you can't adapt to how that person learns, you're just, I'm doing it this way, and if they don't learn, it's their fault. I mean, that's not cool either.
I don't like that, and I honestly, I feel like if you have students in your class who genuinely fail the class and they show up every day, that's not an indicator of the student. I think that's an indicator of the teacher.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about that. Where you had him in front of you and you failed to reach him, and I don't look to point the blame outward. I look to point it inward.
Yeah,
that's how I try to operate for me. So if one of them slips through and fails the class, then I got to get better.
Yeah, and like you said, if they paid attention, they showed up every day. They weren't sleeping. They weren't on their phone. Maybe it's something I did. Maybe it's not them. I mean, maybe it was them. But I gotta give them every chance I can. So I get it.
Yeah, and this whole industry, while we're on that, I think this whole industry probably lacks accountability, right? We oh, I don't have the right part. Oh, the customer's not doing maintenance. Well, okay, educate them about why they should do maintenance. Educate them about why stuff works. Explain to them how refrigeration cycle works, how their air conditioning requires just a little bit from them too. Because I think we need to approach this thing like we're not on opposite sides, we're on the same side. It's collaboration. My goal, consumer, is for you to be comfortable in your home. Is that not your goal? Cool.
Dude,
Then
that's the
help
same
me.
thing. That's the same thing I tell customers when I'm in their kitchen and like they're like, "Oh, sorry, I'm in your way. I got to drop these fries or whatever." And I'm like, "Hold up, we're on the same team. We got the same goal. You
Yes.
want your equipment fixed? I want your equipment fixed. If I'm in the way, tell me step aside. If you want to work around me, just try not to intentionally pour any hot grease on me, and we're cool.
Yeah.
Like, but
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's always what it is. It's not oh, I'm here. Now y'all need to get out my way and worship the ground I walk on and that kind of crap. It's like, nah, we're collaborating. Let's work together, and we'll get this all done.
Those random grease sprays onto my forearm, I do not miss those. I do not miss those. Gosh.
I worked on a fryer today, and like it hadn't ran in like a week. We was waiting on a controller to come in. I had a digital touchscreen controller. It was bad, and I was waiting on one to come in. And I filled it up with grease. And I had like half a fry pot of grease. And I filled it the rest of the way. Turned it on, and it just started bubbling like crazy, like forever. Like I thought it was gonna boil over. It was so bad. I scraped out so much crap out of it, and then I drained it, and there's tongs down the bottom and some other crap. I'm like, you guys do? I'm like, how did you get that down there?
Hey, I hate to go off topic really quickly, but my mother's texting me asking me how she can find this. How can she find this? I'm not the best.
If YouTube, it's
Yeah,
Commercial Kitchen Chronicles on YouTube.
Okay.
It's the easiest way
yes,
to
that's the
find it.
easiest way. Yep.
Okay. Got you.
You gotta take care of mom.
Yeah.
That's a Hispanic family for you.
And I'm going to keep it all the way real and not pretend like I'm the best son, cousin, brother. No, I fell in a lot of areas because I care about the craft a lot more. Right.
Yep.
So shout out to my mother, right? 16-year-old Rita with a teenage son, or teenage mother with a son, right? So I want her to watch this because they ain't supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be teaching or doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you weren't supposed to accomplish nothing.
I'm not supposed to be anything other than one of those statistics, the bad kind.
Exactly.
So, and
See, and that's
I
the
wouldn't
reason why.
say
That's the
without,
reason why I wanted you to start your story off with the unemployment check, right? Because
okay,
I mean, everybody's got a reason. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got an excuse. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm unemployed. Oh, these days everything is racism. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, I'm Puerto Rican and I've made it. So I don't know what anybody else's complaints are. And my grandfather, yeah, he was Puerto Rican poor. Like he had 8 siblings and they used to pass, shoes down and put cardboard in the bottom of the shoes because they were so worn out. But because they lived in the Bronx, they had to walk through the snow. And he passed a few years ago, but he passed very well off. You know what I mean? He made good money. He had a business. He invested his money properly. And I'm like, everybody's got an excuse. Everybody's got where we're not supposed to be yet. My grandfather made it. My pops made it. I made it. You've made it. You're making it. So
my mother just texted me and said she's on. Hello, mother. You got on here just in time because I'm going to keep it very honest with you. As far as being a person who made excuses for every single reason why I didn't get what I felt like I deserved, I'm that dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
me.
used to be that way too, man.
It's me, man. It was everybody else's fault, wasn't mine. I would play that card too, man. They don't like me because I'm Mexican. They don't like me because I'm loud. They don't like me because of this, because of that. I played all that too. What really turned it around for me was 2 things. One, I had a very, very scary finger injury with a staph infection that, it shook me. And then it still didn't shake me enough because I still went like 2 years on my BS after that. But about 18 months ago, I started for the first time in my life having supervisors that look like me. And it suddenly became about a lot more than just fixing equipment for me. It became a lot more important. I guess as you get to be closer to 40, your life perspective changes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. The same things that excited me, things that excited me when I was young don't excite me anymore. And so I had a conversation with myself, and after when I got fired from 3C Mechanical in Waco, Texas, and the way I got fired, to that point in my life, I had always pointed the finger at the employer.
Mm-hmm.
They did me wrong. And for the first time, that particular fine, thank you, 3C Mechanical, by the way, okay, for that. Because what it forced me to do was it forced me to look inward. Because at that point, I was a 37-year-old man, still figuring this game out, living with my father in my great grandmother's house, in the middle of the same BS neighborhood that I grew up in, sharing a bathroom with my father, right? And if anybody's ever done that, that when you go to sleep at night and you hear the person that gave you life snoring in the other room and you don't pay no bills in that house, it does something,
Mm-hmm.
or something's got to change quickly, because I'm dangerously close to 40, and it's going to be over. Like, not over like life over, but like over as far as like I failed at
Mhm.
this thing, the thing I almost died for, by the way, you know? So you start getting in the textbooks, and you make a decision and you make a choice every day that I'm going to do this the best that I can. And I'm going to stop asking employers to train me. I'm going to stop asking other men to train me. And I'm just going to read and read and read and read. And I started stumbling on videos. I found Ty Brenneman, AC Service Tech. I found HVAC school. And then I kept challenging myself to do more. So if it was windshield time, then I was on a podcast listening, or I was on YouTube listening while I was stuck in Dallas traffic. If I was going to be at home cleaning, then it was white noise, YouTube, TV instead of music. It became this thing that consumed me, and ever since that moment, I've been winning ever since. So I wish I got there sooner.
But everybody who's killing it has that same exact part in their story. You know what I mean? And I'm just pointing that out because I've worked with so many people. Oh, well, the company won't train me. Oh, like the last company I worked at, they were offering training, but they were like, we want you to come in the morning, 7 o'clock on your own time and get training. And so many
Right.
guys wouldn't give up the free hour. And I'm like, bro, like, that knowledge, it's not that the company is getting free time from you, that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life wherever you go. You're bettering yourself. And
Exactly.
they wouldn't do it because it was quote unquote giving the company free time. But everybody that us, you, and every guest we've had that is killing it has all had that same point in their life. So whoever's out there listening, blaming the company for why you're not getting ahead, you got to take it into your own hands.
You do. And what I've stumbled into is this beautiful thing where it's a community of like-minded individuals who do not gatekeep the knowledge.
Mhm.
They all share, hey man, I did it this way, it didn't work. Here's how you get better. Call me if you need me, DM me if you need some tips on how to be it's been all of that. And here's what's crazy. I didn't exist in that world prior to the light bulb going off. It was employers and other techs and competitions and trying to suppress you and like gatekeep knowledge and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's just like, first of all, if you are one of those people that blame the employer, or if you don't want to put the hour in, that's great. That's good. You keep doing that, because there is a group of people out here that do put that hour in.
Mhm.
When it's time to get those raises, and you let Mr. Finley be the first one to go have that meeting for the raise, and he takes his chunk out of that 25% of the budget, and you're left fighting for the crumbs, you got two choices.
Exactly.
You got two choices. You can point the finger inward at yourself, or you can do what I did and blame everybody else for why you only got your 1% that doesn't keep up with inflation.
Yep. I had that same aha moment, man. I just quit. I wanted something. I wanted to do something else, and I was told they'd train me, and wasn't. It wasn't what they promised. They said they'd train me, and it was just on your truck, figure it out. And I just started finding knowledge, finding everything I could, and just like trying to absorb everything I could. And then, I'd go into the office. Hey, I want to do this. I want to learn this. I want to do this. Well, there's no class coming up. Well, put me on these calls. I'll figure it out. And then I'm calling people. I'm calling tech support. I'm calling other guys. I'm calling tech support, but I am doing my homework for my call tech support. I'm checking voltages. I'm doing what I can. It's just if you have that mindset that no one else is going to do it for you, you're going to do it for yourself. Dude, you can do a lot of things in life, man. No matter what you want, you could be the best tech, you could be the best father, the best son, the best plumber, whatever it is you want to be the best at. If you have that mentality, you will do it.
True. And it took me a while to realize it, but honestly, there is no easy way. Stop looking for it. It does not exist. The key to being successful at this on any level, let's call it what it is. Successful beyond the basic mechanic and part changer. Okay, let's call it what it is. Besides being a part changer, there's one way that happens. That is first one in, last one out, sitting front and center, and it requires you doing more than you have to do. That's it. And doing stuff nobody asks you to do. That's it. That's the key. That's it. So there's the key. Go out and get it. There is no easy way.
And do stuff that you're scared to do.
Do it.
I volunteered for stuff that I'm like, if this goes wrong, I'm gonna screw this up royally. But you know what? When you throw yourself in that situation, if you have that mindset of I'm gonna figure it out, I'm gonna put in the work. I mean, you're gonna learn it. You're gonna overcome it, and eventually you'll master it. And then, like you said earlier, with the community that exists largely through social media in this industry, you're never in it, alone. Like I've called people for tech support that I've only talked to them once or twice in a Instagram chat, and I know they work on certain things, and I'm like, yo, I'm on one of this. What do I need to do? And they come and call me like if we're best friends, like, hey, check this, check that, check the other. I've in turn done that for God, I don't know how many people. I had one guy message me through Facebook one time asking for help, and then every few weeks he would call me, and then next thing you know, I hadn't heard from him for a while. I'm like, yo, you good? He's like, oh yeah, I don't need you no more. I'm like, awesome. That's the reason I was like, that's the reason I was giving you tech support, so you wouldn't need me no more. Awesome, great.
Hey, be the first one to run to the problem.
Oh, dude.
Even if you aren't successful, keep being the first one that runs to the problems. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
You'll figure it out pretty fast too, man.
Eventually, right? Eventually, it makes sense. You'll start to see the same errors over and over. And if you're curious, you'll start to take broken parts, take those apart. You'll start to research what this model number is. And so if you're that dude that's first to the problems, you're going to end up being embarrassed and your pride gets hurt. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. It means you care.
Yep.
That's more than I can say for most of our industry.
Dude. Yeah.
But you got to take that embarrassment and use it to push you to learn where you screwed up. You know what I mean? What mistake did I make? Not shy away from it because, oh crap, I worked on this and I screwed it up royally. I mean, I'm sure I screwed up a crap ton. I mean, I can't remember, half the stuff I screwed up, but we've all been there because we've all been green. But every time I screwed up, my thing was, what did I do wrong? And I always told people, even up until recently, I'm like, yo, if you go behind me, call me and tell me what I did wrong. I'm not going to get embarrassed. I'm not going to get angry. I don't care if you call me up and say, oh, you effing idiot. I can't believe you missed this. Okay, cool. What did I miss? Long as you tell me what I missed, you could call me any name you want. You could blast me in front of the whole crew. I don't care. Just tell me what I did wrong so I don't do it again.
Yeah, that's accountability is healthy.
Yeah, I put out a video this weekend on YouTube. I did a walk-in cooler equipment change out last week, and evaporator line set, condensing unit, the works. Just reused the box. And we were leaving Wednesday after we went back, checked superheating, cleaned up and everything. And the other experienced technician goes, "Hey, I didn't set that defrost clock." I was like, "Man, it's a cooler. I said, we don't need to set it." I said, "Anyways, it's only wired for power." I said, "You either have to tie in the contactor circuit, coil circuit, or you have to tie in a liquid line solenoid. I was like, we don't need it. It's cooler. Well, sure enough, they left the door open and it froze up. So he went out Friday and he didn't. I don't know if he just didn't remember me telling him, but he just put times in there and just left. He thought it out, put times in the clock, and left. Well, Saturday night it was freezing up again, and they were freaking out. So I went out there Sunday, and no one ever tied the circuit back in, so it wasn't breaking anything. It went to defrost at 8 and 8. it just opened up contacts that were going to nothing. No, so and I think he thinks that I blamed him, and I said no. I said, did I take more fault than you did? I said I told you that it wasn't wired in. I said I told you not to worry about it. I said, and both those things were wrong. I said it's my fault. It's not your fault. I said I was the lead. It was my job. I own it. I said I went out there Sunday. Luckily I talked to him Saturday night late. I said, hey, shut the 3-phase breaker off, leave the evaporator on so it'll thaw. I got there, it was thawed out. So all I had to do was just move one wire, check the defrost, turn defrost, make sure it shut everything off, and I was good. But I own that mistake. It was on me. I mean, it sucks. We look kind of dumb to the customer, but they understood. I mean, they're not mad at us. They still had a refrigerated truck there, so they weren't freaking out anyways. So, but I mean, you got to own your mistakes, man. Nobody's perfect. If they tell you they're perfect, they're going to be probably the worst ones out there.
And you gotta laugh at your mistakes too. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking about recently, like within the last couple of years. I was doing, me and another guy were doing almost all the installs and change outs on refrigeration. And I mean, God, I don't even know how many I've done. And we're on one, and we're both tired, and we finish it up. We put charge into the system, and he's looking at his gauges, and his suction pressure is just all over the place. And we're like, what the heck is going on? Why is this suction pressure just bouncing insane like this? It don't make sense. Then I said, oh, crap. And I ran inside the walk-in. I forgot to mount the bulb for the TXV.
That's good there.
But then the joke for every install me and him did after that, he was like, did you mount the TXV? Did you mount the TXV? I'm like, all I can do is laugh about it. And at that point, I've been doing this, 17, 18 years. But I'm like, hey, we all, oh, God, Total Tech.
We got to figure out who this guy is. He comes out of nowhere.
The thing about mistakes is that nobody is expecting you to be perfect, though. Well, you need to realize that. And when you make a mistake, what we're looking for from you is that you admit to it, tell somebody, and then you recognize what you did. I made a mistake Monday night, where I was tired. I worked from 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. teaching. And then I went 30 minutes away to South Dallas to run a service call. And I did a simple, embarrassing rookie mistake where the T1 side of the contactor went too far down. And so when the call to the coil sucked the plunger down, it sucked that 24-volt control voltage onto line voltage and made a beautiful patriotic display in the middle of the night.
Late for 4th of July.
And I'm going there tonight to correct that, right? But embarrassing, and in that situation, it's not that you made the mistake, it's how you handle it.
Oh, yeah.
So at that point, I'm embarrassed, I'm frustrated, I'm better than that. Customers over my shoulder. The only thing that I can do to even save a little bit of the name is to send that customer the money back and then go fix it and eat it. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I chose that approach every time, by the way, now is because how are we going to feel that sting and remember it? Mm-hmm. If it's your pockets.
Yep.
That's the only way. Right?
Yep. Otis brought up a good point. He said the customers appreciate authenticity. They know we blow it from time to time, and they dig transparency because they know we're not hosing them. Exactly. Dude, honesty with your customers will trump anything, man.
I had a discussion with a customer one time because she was telling me about a technician that they caught on video screwing up, and he denied it like nonstop to the point that she said he stomped his foot like a toddler and ran out of the restaurant. And I just started talking with her. I said, here's my thing. I said, if I screw up and I come to you and I say, hey, I screwed up, but this is what we're doing to take care of it. She interrupts me. She goes, yeah, if I have a problem with that, that's my effing problem. She's like, because as long as you're transparent and you're like, hey, I screwed up, but I'm remedying it for you. She's like, I just need to sit here, shut up, and be happy that you're taking care of it. So, to what Otis said, that's exactly what it is. And if a customer can't understand that, then you probably don't really want them as a customer, because if they're going to sit there in front like they don't screw up themselves, that's a whole nother, load of issues you're going to have with them down the line. But 99% of people, they understand it as long as you're honest with them, and that's what they want.
Dude, it's so simple. It's so simple. We're not in the commercial business. We're not in the residential business. We're not in HVAC. We're not in kitchen business. We are not in any of that. At the end of the day, this is so simple. We make it difficult. We're in the people business. That's it. That's it. That's it. Humans, mistakes, whether it's the dirtiness of items with filth and all that, you have to remember that that's a person, that's somebody's mother, somebody's daughter, grandmother, father. You have to be respectful. Own up for you. We're in the trades. We're blue collar men. It's supposed to mean something. You're supposed to be able to stand on what you say, and you're supposed to hold yourself accountable, and just tell the truth about stuff. If you just do that, that makes you so employable, so hireable, so elevatable, I guess, if that's a word. If you just
tonight,
our craft is so. If you just do those things, like that's enough. Like it is. We have a hard time getting people to do that. Like the technical skills will come with trial and error. We can teach zoo animals the technical skills, but I can't. Skill issues, will issues. I can't give you will.
Right.
I can't do that for you. The skills, yes. We have people throughout this whole community in trade schools, out of trade schools, online, offline. You will get the knowledge. There are more good people, more non-gatekeepers than gatekeepers. You'll get it. But if you don't have the will to want to do some of this stuff right,
it's the character that needs to be developed. That's what it is. It's people's character. If you don't have the character, you know what I mean? Like you said, the will, the integrity, and whatnot, no matter how much skill you have, you're not going to make it far, because people would rather work with a technician that is mediocre, a little bit above mediocre, but has great character, than a technician that is a top-notch technician, but at the end of the day is a piece of crap.
Mediocre. Right? Especially around here, around some of the men that I work with. And what the addictive thing of this is that the more that I'm around them and the more that I learn at their knee, the more I realize I don't know a thing. And that's the chase, in my opinion. That's a chase. Yeah. That's a chase. Is keep going and keep getting better. Oh, I didn't know that a suction return temperature is that impactful. Wow, let me read up about it. I heard compression ratio, and I heard it was helpful for our compressors out here. Let me read about it. Let me add things to my game year after year after year after year. And I think if you go back to sports and stuff, I play sports. So, and Kobe, okay? If you take that approach and apply it to it, can you name any place where that mindset, like it's not successful? Anywhere.
No.
I give you from now to the end of time. When does working harder and working more, like just putting more into something, when does that not benefit you? Where? What craft? What trade?
It's like I tell people will be like, "Oh, Rich, you're so good at your job." It's not that I'm good, because I'm the first to say there are a lot of technicians that are 1,000 times better than I am. I just don't give up. You know what I mean? My dad used to always say, never let anything whip you. And that's my thing. I'm like, no matter how bad this thing is beating the crap out of me, one way or the other, we're going to figure it out. And figuring it out may be calling a guy who's better than me and saying, bro, when you're off your job, can you come help me? Because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know what I mean? There's different ways to act that out. But yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. It's taking L's, man. Taking L's all the time. And then when you think you're the big fish and you get the title and you start to feel yourself a little bit, and then you come around and you realize that there's even bigger fish.
Dude, I get that way, man. I get that big head sometimes, and you get smacked in the face by the simplest saying, dude. And you're just like, I'm an idiot, dude. Why did I think I was this? I'm not this, man. I thought it was that, and then I get beat by this. So
that's good. It's healthy though. It's good because if it makes you question stuff, that means you care, and that's enough.
Yeah,
it's enough. It really
exactly.
is. It'll force you to get in your textbook, and it'll force you to start taking this thing seriously. You got a whole lot of people that want what comes with the trade, but don't want to do what's required to get it.
So real quick, Otis wants to know, what are you smoking on, Rich?
Tonight is a Romeo y Julieta 1875.
Nice. So about the do not quit mentality thing. So I have two sons that are in this industry. One's been here a little over 2 years, and my other's he's on his 4th week right now. And they were out today doing an install. And my youngest is book smart, man. He was like, I didn't realize he was as smart as he was because he refused to take the like advanced classes. Like they wanted him to be a National Honor Society. He turned it down. Like every day I'd go to the mailbox and there's college letters in there, and like he just didn't want any part of it. He always wanted to work with me. But my oldest, like he was a jock. He was the prototypical jock. Like any sport he did, he excelled at it. Like he was just that kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when he said he wanted to come work with me, I was like, "Oh hell no, you're not going to work with me." Like he's like, "I'm going to do it regardless." Like, well, I guess I'll help you out. But he is a person that has that mentality. Like you won't beat him, and he won't be beat by something. He just will not give up, man. And that's how I think he excels at this, because he refuses to let something beat him or get the best of him. Like today, like he installed some stuff and it just wasn't going his way. And finally at 7 o'clock, I was like, "Dude, pack it up, go home, get away from it." I was like, "It's going to be there tomorrow. Go away. Quit beating yourself up. Quit dealing with it. Go home, get away from it, relax. We'll visit it tomorrow. If I gotta go out there, whatever. If not, you can go out there and call the factory. But you're not doing any good at 7 o'clock at night. You're just getting frustrated at this point, and they're not using it. Go home."
And he'll show up tomorrow, rested, and fix it in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, it'd be something stupid. He'd be like, "Oh, I should have caught this yesterday."
I've done that a million times overworking myself.
Then be mad at himself.
I think that's good that you're teaching him that, and I think you really need to hammer down on that, because the consequence of not doing that is me. I take work home with me, and I lay in bed and I let it mess me up.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
I let it ruin. I take it personally. I let it hurt my feelings. I let it mess my stomach up. I think about it too much. I don't remember the stuff that I fixed.
Come home in a bad mood.
Every last thing I messed up.
Come home in a bad mood, take it out on your family.
Yeah.
Shit. And it ain't their fault, man. I feel
Nah.
terrible. I'll come home in a bad mood and I'll snap at my wife or something. I'm like, "Man, she didn't do this. It wasn't her." And
I remember every mistake. Every mistake I remember. And I remember how embarrassed I was. And some of the bosses I had, I remember the chewings that came from that. I remember the emasculation that came from that, right? Like I remember all the consequences of everything I've ever messed up or every mistake I've ever made. And I'm saying that as a warning because I don't think that's healthy.
Oh, it's not.
So it's good that you're on the young fella like that early.
Yeah, I do. I worked a ton when my kids were younger. I missed a lot of stuff, man. And, I made some changes later on in life when I made more money than I made when they were younger. My one son, my older son, I tell a story. I missed his football game because I was at work, and he broke his leg and laid on the field for a half hour before an ambulance could come get him because I wasn't there because I was at work. And I was like, I made a promise to myself that I'd never miss another one of my kids' sporting events. So I was like, nope, I don't care. I'd come in at 4 a.m. and work, and I'd get 8-10 hours in and still go to their games at night. I just made that decision that, hey, this is how it's going to be, and it's unfortunate that it took him laying on a field in pain for a half hour, for me to realize that. But
you should tell him that.
But at least you realized it.
As men, we don't talk to other men like that.
He's probably watching.
Okay.
He sneaks and watches.
Yeah.
He won't come.
Guarantee that hurt, didn't it? Oh my goodness, that stung, didn't it?
I love, dude.
Yeah. I remember when I hurt myself in football, right? My parents were there. My dad was. And funny story, if my mom's watching, I had that tattoo when I got that injury that senior year, and Dad came down to the field, and I had to make sure while I was crying and upset and crying in the towel to cover up the tattoo because I was like 16 or 17 years old.
So my son's senior year, we were gone. We went to Florida over Christmas, and he didn't want to go, so he stayed home. Well, he was partying with his buddies while we were in Florida, and he got branded. Like, and my son's always been in like real good shape, 6-pack. Yeah. Well, I didn't think about it, and like finally, like for 6 months, like he always wore a shirt, and he used to wear shorts running around the house without a shirt. And like one day, like he's like, I got something to show you guys. Like he lifted his shirt, he's got this big, huge brand on his chest. I was like, He's like, yeah, I did it when you guys were in Florida over Christmas break. I'm like, dude, it healed like crap. You could have done a better job at it.
You want to see mine and hear this one? Oh, wait to hear how stupid this one was. Okay, look at that, right? We had just graduated high school, so I was 18. This is 2003. I'm old. Okay. Baylor University had a frat party, and we snuck into it. The way Waco's set up, I-35, Interstate 35 is the dividing line between Baylor University and all the good that comes with those kind of kids and the kids that don't, right? The Mexican neighborhood and all that. So we're over there at the fraternity party. They're getting rowdy, and there are 2 fraternity guys that are trying to get branded, but they're scared. So they're taking the coat hanger, they straightened it out, they put it over the open flame till it turns orange, and they're like scared to put it on the other guy's arm.
I think it's your mom.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Here's how it went down, Mom. Oh, that is her. Yeah. Look. So we're in this Baylor party, and it's Mom. It's off of by where VTEX is at. But anyway, so this goes on for like an hour, and I'm an aggressive young male getting ready to go play college football. So finally, it's like, man, get all these Baylor punks out of here. It's scary. Let a real one sit in the chair. Sit in the chair, and they go to try to tie my arms to the chair. I'm like, man, I don't need that. Come on. And so I let these people I've never met, don't know, ain't seen since. I let them burn that coat hanger till it turned orange, and I let them do it twice, once down and once across, and it's all uneven. I got in trouble when I got to college because I had an open wound trying to play football. They were mad at me about that. Yeah, it's just nuts.
My son's we live in a small town, and his buddies are all like farm kids, and they have this ranch. They raise longhorn steer in Indiana, of all places, and they took and welded up the symbol of the ranch on a piece of metal, and that's what they used to brand each other. There was like 3 of them that did it, and like, yeah, his is the best out of all 3 of them, and it's terrible. It's all bubbled and nasty.
But the memories that are tied with it, though.
You know, hey, Mr. Finley, though, and you too, sir. We just met, but I told you this before, and we'll say it again. As I was coming up through this trade, I had a lot of people say, "You're just a tech. You're doing too much. You need to chill out." Right? That's not your job, and they made it seem as if all I could ever be doing this was a technician. And when I see you do what you do with the podcast, to me, that speaks to somebody who didn't let people tell you that you were just a tech. So I can appreciate that. Like, to me, that's inspired. That is what really gets me fired up, is when I see people who the trades was something that allowed them to venture into something else. Did you think that you'd be doing some podcasts or something like 20 years ago, right?
No, it was just dumb luck. Mentioned it on a whim, and then luckily I found Rich on LinkedIn. I found Jason on Instagram, and I've got a really good group of guys behind me. I've got a lot of companies to support what I do. It's an absolute blast, dude. I have fun doing it. You know, and to talk about that point is, you know, oh, you're just a tech. So I went to Cefesa a couple of years ago, and I didn't know why I was there. I wanted to go because I taught, and then I got asked to go at the last minute, and I didn't think about it. But they have an awards ceremony, and they give – I won a technician of the year or whatever. Yeah, outstanding technician, as they call it.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, what brings you here? I was like, oh, I'm just a tech. They're like, no, you're more than just a tech. You don't realize the impact you're making on people. I'm like, no, I'm just a tech. They're like, no, you're more than just a tech. And it really has come for full circle. But if it wasn't for the support of, you know, friends and family, and, you know, I consider Rich and Jason like brothers, man. I'd do anything in the world for them. If Jason was to call me right now, so he needed me in Florida, I'd drive down there. I'd book a flight. If Rich needed me, I'd go down there. It's been a great journey, and I've met a lot of cool people, and I can't wait to meet even more. I'm terrible about booking guests, and I put a post out there saying I need a guest this week, and luckily you stepped up. But I've been following you for a little bit on social media, and you have a great personality. You're really showing off what this industry needs. Outgoing personality, having fun. You've got tattoos, you got gauges, but you're like, I'm having fun. I'm here. I'm doing this thing, and it's good to see, man. I really appreciate what you're doing, and to see you involved in teaching and sharing that knowledge with the next generation is really cool as well.
I appreciate it. A lot of mistakes, lot mother comment, a lot of mistakes.
Dude, I want to add something. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. But just on that point of like just the tech, it kind of got me thinking. Like when I was in high school, I had this one. I think it was an assistant principal or something, and some crap had happened, and it was the whole "you're never gonna amount to anything," whatever. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, bro, like I've got friends and mentors that own multi-million-dollar businesses. You know what I mean? Like I've sat in rooms and on calls with people that like he probably would have been nervous to talk to these people because they're high level people like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, like no matter what anybody says, bro, it's all, which I think is a recurring theme of this episode. It's all about you, bro. Because like I said, I was told so many times that I wasn't going to be nothing. And was there reasons that they said that? Maybe, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say I didn't do stupid stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But still, it's there's no label, no nothing that anybody speaks over you or puts on you. You're never confined to that, bro.
True.
Couple-
Derek, in the trades, elevating through the career upwards, slipping or falling my way forward, access to healthcare, starting to figure out some things about me. That's it took work to be positive, and it's a choice every single day. I wasn't thinking like that up until about 2 years ago. And the reason why I try to keep such an upbeat attitude to stay positive is because ultimately this craft is hard. It's the most humbling thing I've ever been a part of. I mean, it really is. It makes you question why you do this thing sometimes. Why am I embarrassing myself, right? Why am I making this mistake? Why am I letting people a whole bunch of things when you're alone on that roof of that gas station at 1 a.m. and you've been there for 3 hours and you're scared to call anybody, right? Because of pride and ego. So it's been a lot of work, but to me, what I realized is that I used to be a bad attitude that would suck the energy out of a room when I walked in.
Yes.
And the positive energy is just as impactful as that negative.
There's a couple of comments from your mom I want to read. First off, she says, if you're not making mistakes, you're not out there doing. And then her next comment says, took almost 40 years for my son to. So way to go, Rita. Not all success is right out of high school. Sometimes it takes a weird journey to get where we're at. But, seeing comments like that makes it awesome to see, man.
Hey, and look, man, there are people who do not agree with my approach or the way that I am. And what they don't know about me is that, yeah, it's kind of been that way my whole life, looking back, right? People have always tried to make me fit in their box, whether it's even been my own family, right? Whether it's supposed to be, whether I'm supposed to be what I look like or not, or whatever, okay? What I get fired up about is that when I'm teaching, trying to teach, but let's be real about trying to, the eyes that look back at me are people that look like me, and they come from the same income class that I come from. And that gets me pumped up. And that gets me to where it's like, after all these mistakes and all this just not living up to my potential, I still have an opportunity to make an impact on others. And ultimately, it makes all of the path that went like this worth it. I would go back and do it again in a heartbeat, because I've got so many life lessons for these young folks and so many ways to try. Like when somebody says that my dad's not home, guess what? I got a whole family full of people who grew up with their dads not home.
Mhm.
And a whole bunch of men that I'm related to where the women were tasked with raising them. So I can reach you. I know. Like I know what that's like. I've been my students that are working in fast food. Guess who worked in fast food as a 33-year-old male while they were in trade school?
Mhm.
I worked at a national pizza chain and made pizzas next to 16-year-olds. I've got the plasma mark from selling plasma to buy textbooks and just to get by. Like I've been there. So to me, it's so important that I reach them and let them know it is not hopeless. And the reason to be positive is that when I was in school, school was the only place where I went where it was a positive environment, where it was uplifting and inspirational and happy and laugh. Because the minute I walked out of those doors from TSTC, it was, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing enough. You suck. You're stupid. You work with high schoolers. It's all these negative things on why I'm not what I should be. So when we're at school, I want you to feel welcome. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you telling me things that you probably shouldn't, because to me, that means that you trust me and you're comfortable with me. And if you're comfortable with me and you trust me, then I can teach you. Because you're going to run through a wall for what I tell you, right? And you ain't gonna question it, right? And then with that kind of power, you also have a responsibility to not make them run through walls unnecessarily too. And I think that a lot of people underestimate the role and the value of teaching in that manner, where it's you have to make them trust you. And then when they do trust you, you can't violate it. You can't. So all that comes from me messing up. It really does. It I've been to jail too, right? So when these kids come out of jail and they come sit in that classroom, right? I'm not a felon, misdemeanors, drug charges and gun charges. Okay. I can tell them that it is not hopeless. I teach in front of you. You don't have to sit in that chair and think that people don't want to talk to you about HVAC because you're a felon. So, just trying to figure out the best way to be impactful here at Lincoln Tech and Grand Prairie, and going by the seat of my pants, right? The kids, they'll ask me something and I'll just be honest with them. Bro, I don't know. I made Totino's pizza rolls in an air fryer last night for dinner. I'm trying to figure this out too.
But I know who I can ask that's going to help me out. Is all.
Yeah, we can figure this out together.
Dude, I never claim to know it all. I just happen to know where I can find just about everything out.
Yep.
So the trades have been good. And I love this thing. I think y'all love this thing, and I think anybody who does more than they're supposed to, which you too, right? That's what the trade's about. That's how you end up being successful at anything.
Yep.
Anything, man. It really is. So just shout out to Viper for, we have all these products. If I took this laptop and walked over there, all those products are sitting back there.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, Viper's good people.
They are, man. Right. Products.
We're over an hour, but one quick thing. If someone was wanting to get into this industry, what piece of advice would you tell them?
Stop talking about it. Start doing it.
Dude,
stop talking. Start walking. Dude, that's my piece of advice.
The HVACR industry is huge. There are so many sectors. Rich and myself and Jason, we're in a food repair sector, but there's guys doing chillers, there's guys doing racks, there's guys. It's a huge industry with a bunch of small little sectors. Yes. And you don't have to stick somewhere. If you want to do something else, you can go somewhere else.
And it don't matter how old you are. I have people that DM me, especially on LinkedIn, like, I'm 35, I'm 37, I'm 41. I'm thinking about getting into this, but I'm kind of old. I'm like, oh, bro, like, I mean, maybe it's because I'm 39. I'm like, nah, you're not old, bro. Like, do it. You know what I mean? Get into it. As long as you're willing to put in the work,
On
Do
behalf
it, bro.
of all the trades, we need you.
Oh yeah.
Come on. Stop
Stop being SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah.
stop talking about it, what you're gonna do, and come do it.
Long as you're willing to put in the work and
Just
try, you'll
the
be
best place for you is in the chairs in these trade schools learning. That's the best place for you to be. If you're not happy with what's going on, you go to the grocery store. It's expensive, right? All that stuff. Come, this whole Dallas is full of people that are talking about what they're gonna do.
Mhm.
The world's full of that.
You want a livable wage? Come to the trades.
Come on.
You'll get way more than a livable wage if you put the work in.
Hey, when COVID happened and people were panicking,
Mm-hmm.
I was out in the streets working.
Dude, I never worked before. I never worked before.
Restaurants were shut down, yet we were still super busy.
And this stuff about in the winter people get slow. Where?
Yeah,
Where?
exactly.
Where? We're short labor.
Mhm.
Like, what are you talking about? We're slow in the winter. No, come on. We can't keep up, and the world's only getting hotter. There's more restaurants with equipment. There's less people that can fix them. Hey, listen here. Robots can't do what we do. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
Slow down.
If a company lays you off, another one will pick you up the next day if you put in half an effort.
If you chase the knowledge,
yes,
everybody's looking for knowledgeable techs.
Yep.
Everybody, come join the trade. We need your help. Because stop talking about it. Just go to the school and sign the paperwork, or go to the apprenticeship and sign it. Go wherever you have to go yesterday and do it.
and while you're at the school, get signed on as a PM tech or something like that, where what you're learning in class, you can also apply it, while you're out in the field and get paid for it.
I talk to every employer that I can that comes through here, and I ask them this question on purpose. What do you look for in a quality technician? And they all say 4, 5, 6 of the same things, and none of them, it's never who's the best wrench turner, who's the best diagnostic technician. It's none of that. It's who's dependable, who's got integrity, who shows up on time. It's all those things that are all in your control.
Yeah,
they're all in your control. Like all will issues and not skill issues. So come sign up, and whatever it costs, I don't know, but whatever it costs, come on. The one thing in the country where you're going to pay something that's going to be probably too high because everything in the country is too high, but you're going to get what you pay for in exchange, which is a career and a way to eat for the rest of your life.
Yep.
And then if you want to go deeper than that, people who come from circumstances and environments where I'm from, we're talking about the opportunity to uproot the family tree and put it in better conditions.
And that's something that I talk about a lot, bro, right? Because, not to get too political, but they always want to throw handouts at people like us, right?
Yeah.
They want to give us more welfare. They want to give us more food stamps. They want to give us more Section 8. They want to give us more of that stuff. And it's like, if you put a bunch of people from those circumstances in trade school, you won't have to give them another handout, a day in their life. And if you're in that position where you're sick of that lower lifestyle, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're getting handouts, but you can't hardly pay your light bill. Exactly, bro. Come to the trades, and if you put in the work, your life will never be the same. And then, like you said, then your kids are in a different bracket. Your kids don't know the life that you had, and then their kids won't even fathom the life that grandpa had because you made that decision and you took those steps.
It's a way out.
Yeah.
It's a way up and a way out for everybody that just is struggling with stuff. You think them call center jobs, if they can't move those call center jobs somewhere else that's cheaper, that they won't? They will.
Oh, 100%.
They will. They do, and they have, and they will. And as soon as they figure out how to put a kiosk in every fast food restaurant, they're going to do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The trades, come join it. You can go to this. You can go to school and do this and not leave burdened with debt. Guess who's got student loan debt from 4-year colleges? Okay. Like you can do this stuff. And if I can do this, anybody, I know it's cliche, but really, truly. And here at Tech, we've got women that do this. We have little young 17-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids. We have big, strong, older men that been to the military, young men that ain't done nothing a day in their life, and they all come here and they learn a trade, and then they get out there, get jobs, and they don't have to worry about where the next check's coming from.
Exactly. And there's always a sense of accomplishment when you do your job well.
Always. You should see these kids when they walk across the stage, and nobody's ever celebrated them a day in their life. And you should see them when they walk down them stairs, man, and like you're clapping for them. I can't put I don't have the vocabulary to tell you what that feels like, seeing them being that happy like that. And it's like, come get you some of this.
Yeah.
Like, come get you some of this. Like, come on. There's
change your life.
educators and there's people who that my story is not unique. I'm not special. And everybody I work with in the trades and run across have a similar kind of story. Daddy went to get cigarettes and ain't been back in 32 years, or all that stuff. Like, come on. Like, you have people, you don't have to be thinking that like you're the one that, life sucks, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. Come on. There's so many men out here that want to help you, that poured their lives into doing this, that didn't expect to be here doing this. Mm-hmm. There's so many women that are in our career services that didn't expect to be doing this, and then they get here, they fall in love with it, and their whole entire life is centered around helping you be successful at this stuff. Like if you think that I'm the only one who's this upbeat and positive about the trades, you'd be lying to yourself. I'm not. The environment breeds this, right? Mm-hmm. So come on, like, stop talking about it and do it. Stop looking at videos and stop looking at the big truck with the wheels and like, hey, I'm gonna hop out of it. No, come on, come get it. Yeah. Here, but before you come through thinking that somebody's just gonna give it to you, you need to know that these are big boy jobs with big responsibilities, right? A lot's asked of you, a lot's given to you, so a lot's going to be required of you. But that's okay, right? Because what are you doing? What's the alternative?
Yep.
You keep doing what you're doing with that cycle. Like, you keep not paying the light so you can pay the gas.
Yep.
Stop hopping. Grow up. Come get it.
It'll change your life, man. It will.
God, it will. Come on. What about you, sir? Right? How many struggles did you have on the way? Right? You got the same story as Finley's, me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, nothing was ever handed to me. Yeah, I grew up house to house. I mean, I had it rough, so I fully get it, man.
And the beautiful thing is now is that you've got two boys that are doing it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Continue to teach the fish.
Rich is the same way. He's training his kids. I mean, he's got his kids there working with him.
My oldest works with me mostly full time, and then when he's takes a day off, one of my other two will ride with me. So they're all learning it, and it's cool, right? Because like how we were just saying, how we can change your family dynamic. Like, I was riding yesterday or the day before, we were riding back from a service call, and I was on the phone with my wife, and my oldest said something, and I'm like, man. I told my wife, I said, your kid's never been through hard times and it shows. And my son's like, well, that means you did your job. And I'm like, I did. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I did. I mean, I busted my butt. I wasn't perfect, obviously, but y'all never knew hard times. And I had better times than my dad had growing up. And he had better times than his dad did, because we've all busted our butt. I'm third generation in this trade. So that's why I see such a big impact. Like I said, my grandfather went from dirt poor to doing pretty well, and his kids did a little better, and we're doing a little better, and my kids are doing a lot better. So, I mean, everything you said about how it can change your life is 1,000% on point.
I don't even think you have to use the word if. I think that if you use the word will change your life.
Yeah.
Like, it will. Like, oh my God. I could go on about the crap that is in my family dynamics. Like, I come from an environment where my grandmother's house was shot up and they put steel in the front of that house. I'm not supposed to be instructing people. The trades made that possible. The trades did. When there was no other options, it was the trades. Like how many other times or people do you need to tell you, hey, the trades are good, the trades are good, before you actually come sign up? Like,
And I think Jason's got a similar story too. I mean, Jason has reference to, being what, 16 or so and being in the streets and this and that, and then bam, through this, that, and the other, he got into this, and now the dude's doing big things also.
Finley said it though. There's so many tentacles. Like I mean, ice rinks, gas stations, new construction, retrofits, commercial, industrial, hot side of the kitchen, cold side of the kitchen, ice machines, fountain machines. It's literally every. We ain't even talking residential air conditioning, but that exists too, right? Anything that requires the moving of heat exists. Anything that requires food exists. We all eat like there's so many tentacles. You can get into business behind this. You can get into training behind this, teaching behind this. You can it goes on and on and on. Like, I literally, and also cliche, sky's the limit. I've met men who make more money than I even thought was possible in this. And then I think that my little old crumbs, I thought it was good. And then I meet men, it's like if they woke up with my income, they throw themselves off the tallest building. So come get it. Like, and then you're gonna be looking back 5 years from now, being like, dang, I should have did this when I was 20. Like, come on. Like, yeah, Finley doing a podcast, like we're talking stuff, trades, like, yeah, Viper providing great products and giving us support nationally. Like, it's the beginning of something good, and I'm telling you, I'm okay. Sorry.
You're good.
You're good, bro. I gotta say, you are definitely. This is one of the most inspiring episodes I think we've had. I think this episode is up there, and also when Kenny Refrigeration Man was on.
Yeah,
bro. This has been awesome, bro. Like,
I appreciate it.
I'm sitting here like I want to find a way for us to give you a platform to like just tell your whole story for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, bro. Like it's that good, bro.
Man, don't let it be like I mean, there's so many men that do this that have similar, right?
Yeah.
Immigrants and people with 7 kids and I mean, it goes on and on, right? Wait for 3 or 4 or 5 more years when I chase this ESCO and get my knowledge up. I don't know a thing right now.
That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to work on my ESCO stuff too.
Congratulations, chase it. Wait till I actually get some skills and knowledge behind me. Like, honestly, wait till the confidence matches the skills, matches the ego, like the earned ego at that point, and then hopefully Lincoln Tech, the income. Right? but honestly though, right? I'm just now starting to realize that the trades was the best thing that ever happened to me, and so I want to preach the trade gospel nonstop, because it's like when these guys get saved and born again, and they want to tell you the good news. Have you heard the good news? And people go running away and stuff. It's that. Like, why wouldn't I want to tell people to join this thing? Like, come on. Like, what are you waiting on? Like, that's me talking to myself 10 years ago. What am I waiting on?
Yeah.
So, trades are beautiful.
Sweet. Well, we're going to wrap this up because it's been like an hour and 20 minutes.
Nice.
And we could go on all night. Actually, it's been an hour and 22. But anywhere you want people to find you, I know you're on Facebook as that HVAC space Mac. Anywhere else you want to?
You can find me at Lincoln Tech in Grand Prairie, Texas, is DFW Metroplex. You can come say hello. You can come take your tours. I'm out here in Dallas all the time. I don't hide from nothing. I'm still working out in the field. I'm on social media as that HVAC Mac. I'm kind of mostly on Facebook. As this thing continues to evolve, I'm going to put videos of like the stuff we do at the trade school, breaking motors down, things of that nature to show you how things fail. all in an attempt to get more people into the trades. That is my goal. My goal is to have as many young men come through here and get jobs as possible. That's it.
Yep.
Care about nothing else.
I love it, man. We're the same thing. We're just trying to shine a light on the trades, and we really love our little niche, but we highlight everybody. The trades is the future.
It is.
I'm not knocking doctors, lawyers, and all that kind of stuff, but we need a lot more guys and women out here in the industry, grinding away, fixing stuff, making sure America moves forward. So
yeah,
dude, doctors are great, right? But somebody needs to keep the doctor's office cool, needs to keep it plumbed. You know what I mean? Needs to provide power. Doctor can't do crap if they don't have electricity. You know what I mean?
Can't have those level 5 research facilities at Baylor University
Yep,
without having those clean rooms.
exactly.
Okay, like all of that. But yeah, you can find me at Lincoln Tech in Grand Prairie, Texas.
Sweet. I will tag you when I release the episode, man. I really appreciate you coming on. We'll have to have you back on here in a couple of years, or maybe sooner before that, and get talk about some more about how the program's growing and stuff like that. I'd love to. Maybe if you have a student you want to show off or highlight, maybe we'll have them come on with you. Maybe we can do something like that one day. And
whatever you need and however I can be of assistance for the craft, any I make time for that.
And the same thing, if you have something you want to jump on and talk about, hit us up and we'll get you on an episode.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me. By the way, like I said, I can't say enough kind things about you, seeing you online. Like I really get fired up seeing people expand out of just turning wrenches, man. I really do.
That's cool, man. I appreciate it. So,
yes, sir.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Hey, it was a pleasure to
Take it
meet you,
easy.
sir. What was your name again, sir?
Rich.
Thank you for taking time too, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
you coming
guys.
out, bro.
See ya.
Mm-hmm.